pointy nose, chasing mice and digging holes.
Hey guys, it is Gleam the Tri-Tailed Arctic Fox here, aka Digipal3. I am bringing you today a Pokemon Wi-Fi battle, in 6th generation of course. I am using a team of random shinies and a Mamoswine. It seems to have worked for this battle, so I'm going to go for it. He leads with Cofagrigus, I lead with Rotom Wash. I didn't realize he would lead with Rotom Wash, so Cofagrigus was, random. I go straight for the Volt Switch, I believe, because I wanted to get a switch opportunity here. And I do. There it is, the switch opportunity, straight out of there. This is a Chesto Resto Bold Rotom Wash, so it is maximum defense. And I wanted to save it as a wall, and I'm bluffing my Scarf and all that, so yes. So I go to Mamoswine, who can set up rocks and do some damage before the Umbreon decides to do anything fishy. He realizes that he's in trouble, and he's going to switch directly out into his Cofagrigus again. Cofagrigus, just whatever. I get up my rocks for free because I knew he was going to switch. Well, I didn't really know he was going to switch, but I mean, it was pretty obvious. He didn't have anything to do with a Mamoswine. So I'm going to switch directly back out and go back into my Rotom, who doesn't care if I get burned because I am Resto Chesto, like I said, and I can continue to bluff my Choice Scarf. So I'm going to try and do that now and go for the Will-O-Wisp, I believe, unless I go for another Volt Switch. I might went for the Volt Switch. I'm going to see right now. But I'm decently sure I go for the Will-O-Wisp. Oh, I went for the Hydro Pump. Well, that's the option I didn't realize I went for. Okay, so I went for Hydro Pump. I guess I was predicting the Rhyperior to come in because he has a Rhyperior on his team, so that would have made sense to dodge the Volt Switch if he thinks I'm Scarfed and whatnot, so yeah, there's that. I realize I don't want to show him that I'm not choiced, so I switch out instead of using Volt Switch, and I go into my Talonflame, who can take any move this thing wants to and set up on its face. Umbreon, however, just opts to go for Wish, which is a great move on his part. He doesn't lose anything from it, and he can heal off whatever team member he wants to. However, he realizes Talonflame is a giant-ass threat, and he switches directly into his Rhyperior, and I go for Swords Dance. I should have predicted this, obviously, because the Rhyperior completely walls Talonflame. I just wasn't thinking, so I wasted a turn on Swords Dance, and I got nothing done. Granted, I could have switched into Rotom, which would have been great, but I'm going to take the time to switch into Rotom now, knowing I can take any hit I want to from that thing because I am a physical wall. So I switch into Rotom Wash, and he goes for the Stone Edge. Stone Edge hits. Stone Edge crits. So yeah, my Rotom Wash dies to the burn because of a stupid critical hit, and I lost my only out to Rhyperior. So now I'm going to have to play around this stupid piece of rock. So I go into Azumarill knowing he's not going to want to take an Aqua Jet / Waterfall. I am going to go straight for the Belly Drum, which is perfect on my part as he switches into Cofagrigus, which obviously would be a great switch on his part because he would be able to take the Waterfall and get rid of my Thick Fat, which would put him in a great situation to set up. However, that's not the case as I go for the Belly Drum. I get the maximum attack boost and my Citrus Berry, which will put me at a great range to start sweeping his team. I go straight for the Play Rough, which will indeed kill off the Cofagrigus, no problem, no issues at all. So that's out of the way. It is 5-5 now, and I lose my Pure Power for Mummy, but that doesn't really matter. And he goes into Sir Quacks, which is his Porygon Z. I realize I have nothing to switch into this thing, so I'm going to do as much damage as possible. Just go for the Aqua Jet, and it doesn't kill. It leaves him with about 5%. And he kills me off with a Thunderbolt. So Azumarill got 1 in 9/10 of a Pokemon killed. So I go into my Porygon 2, which should be able to copy Adaptability and fire off a Thunderbolt. Or Ice Beam, whichever one I opt to go for. I think I opt for Ice Beam here. I opt for Ice Beam because, yeah, I felt like it. So he switches in his Umbreon. I go for the Ice Beam, and would you believe it? I freeze the Umbreon just like that. Umbreon is frozen solid. He has a Pokemon out of the wings. I am in a great switch initiative right now to go into whatever I want to and just start beating him up. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to switch out here, but he actually switches out himself, which shows me Umbreon's faster than Porygon 2. And he goes into his Rhyperior, which is a pretty bad move on his part because I didn't switch into Talonflame. I switched into my Dun dun dun, Mamoswine. So yeah, I switched into Mamoswine because I figured that was a perfect switch in this situation. And then he's like, oh no, that's bad. And he goes into the Umbreon again. I went for Freeze Dry because I was fearing the weakness policy, and I just wanted to get as much damage as possible. And I kind of, you know, thought Freeze Dry would do more damage to Rhyperior because it's a special weaker Pokemon versus its physical defense, which is massive. So I'm just like, let's try and use Freeze Dry. And I realize that's whatever, and I go for the Earthquake on the Umbreon, and Umbreon dies. So that's the end of that thing, and Mamoswine takes a little bit more recoil. Whatever. Next we go into his, he goes back into his Rhyperior, which I think is kind of silly, because I'm just like, whatever. But now more than ever, I figure he has the weakness policy, so I went for the Icicle Crash instead of the Earthquake, trying to get a flinch off just in case he has a weakness policy as he hits me with an Earthquake. I go for the Icicle Crash again, because I missed my first Icicle Crash, and I do a crap ton of damage to this thing. It does a lot, like about 80%. And he misses his Stone Edge. Why he went for Stone Edge, that's beyond me. But I will finish him off here with a Freeze Dry, and that will be the end of Rhyperior. He could have obviously just went for an Earthquake and finished me off with no problem at all, but he decided to opt for Stone Edge. Granted, maybe I would have switched him with my Talonflame, I don't know. But even from that range, Talonflame would not be able to kill Rhyperior, so that would have not been a smart move on my part. He goes into my Milotic as I go into Talonflame. I realize that's whatever, and I know he's going to go for Scald, so I switch directly into Porygon 2, hoping to get burned, because that is my best play right now. I want to get burned. So I'm going to get burned by this Milotic right now. Watch as I get burned. But also note that I just copied his competitive ability. So Porygon 2 now has competitive, which means if I get hit by a move that lowers my stats, my special attack will sharply rise. That will be important for a few turns later in the match. But yes, I do get burned by the Scald, which puts me in a great position because now Milotic cannot poison me with Toxic. I also noted that Milotic has Life Orb, which I was just kind of shocked about. I'm like, oh my, that's a first. I've never seen that in my life. So yeah, he's running a Life Orb mix, or Life Orb Wall-ish Milotic, so I guess it would be a tank in a way. But yeah, whatever. So I'm just going to stay in here and tough it out as I go for recovers and watches my his poison damage slaps him down with also Life Orb. So I mean, Porygon 2 is in a great position. So I go straight for the recover here, and I'm in a good position to just sit here. So he gets hit by Toxic, and we both go for recover this turn. So that puts me in a great spot. Recover, please. There we go. So my Milotic goes for recover, and I go for recover, and we're both going to be at nearly full HP after this. Except I have the burn damage and he has the poison damage, so that's the only difference between the two. Well, not just poison damage, it's toxic damage, but yeah, you get the point. So, my awesome little ducky here, just stalling him out. I opt to go for the Thunderbolt this turn because I want to just get as much damage on him as possible, and I know he can't kill me. But he switches into Arcanine. Now, Arcanine has two abilities, Flash Fire and what? Yes, Flash Fire and Intimidate. So he intimidates my Porygon 2, knowing very well that I had a competitive copied from my Milotic. So I get double my special attack from that. I got +2 special attack because he sent in his Arcanine. Good job. But not only that, I get a Parahax on him. I get the Paralyze, that 10% chance of goodness on the Arcanine. So now I outspeed it no problem. He gets paralyzed on the following turn, so Extreme Speed can't do anything. Not that it would hurt me anyways, but he just can't do anything. And I finish him off with a Thunderbolt. So Arcanine goes down. My duck is sitting burned at +2 special attack, unable to be killed by anything the Milotic has. He is in a rough spot. So he goes into PGZ, which just dies to Stealth Rocks. I guess he wasn't expecting that. So, yeah, it dies to Stealth Rocks, putting the game at, I believe, 2-1 now? 2-1 maybe? Maybe 3-1? I don't know. But it's something like that, and there we go. So he goes into my Milotic, and yeah, it does nothing to me. I go for the Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt is cool. Oh, no, I went for Recover. I guess I just didn't want to risk it. My bad. So I go for the Recover, and he's just going to let his Milotic die next turn, and that will be that. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. This has been Digipal3, aka Gleam the Tri-Tailed Fox. I'm sly, I'm slick, I'm colorful, Gleam the Tri-Tailed Fox, on a roll.